great.
I went to go pick up the bone.
Total
Every time I went
faith
to pick
in
up
you.
the bone, the meat stayed on the plate, and I'm sitting there holding
Wow.
a bone with no meat on it.
That is
Well, that's
tender.
tender. That's tender.
That's what-
That's tender.
So it was great to see Libby. You know, we were celebrating her brother-in-law who passed down
Okay.
at Gorman's. I'd never been there, Route 51.
Oh, yeah,
They're
they've been
family. I
around.
mean, she's like a big sister to me, 5 years older. So
So
I
the
bought her
next
a
thing is,
vodka
I
OJ.
didn't know you knew the Tate brothers, Greg and Jeff.
The who?
Tate's Sidewinders.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, my uncle Anthony and GT, they were the. Greg had the hair, and Anthony could play.
Greg was handsome. I had a crush on him in elementary school.
Yeah, well, Anthony could play circles around Greg on the guitar.
Oh wow.
Greg had the big hair, you know, and he and all the girls.
Hey, Mike.
All right, Michael.
Sorry, Marco can't come in.
He came home and he went
Be careful.
slept until like 15 minutes ago.
I know.
Well,
These
maybe you could
days,
just
I
give
don't
him
think- I don't
the.
think he
I
feels well.
purposely didn't get one the week before and everything because I didn't trust him coming in.
You know what? That would
He'll be
keep in the
watching.
refrigerator for a
Guess
week.
what? We're eating. it.
Yeah.
We are.
It'll keep right here too.
I'll bring him over piece.
You can take whatever's left.
There you go.
Everybody will get a slice.
It looks. Did you take a picture of it? Because it looks so cute.
Yeah, I will take a picture.
Like, take a pic of the
Here's
cake
what I
before it
said.
You
gets
take
cut
a
up.
picture of him,
Before it gets
of me
cut
and
up.
Jim devouring it.
You get better and better with that cake.
Here's what I sent Marco.
Oh, you did already. Great.
Linda,
Yeah.
here's what I sent Marco.
Oh, you sent him
He
already.
didn't even
Okay.
reply back.
I'll tell
probably took
he's
another nap.
out of it. He's out. He's like,
Doing
you
good,
better
Michael.
stay
Doing
home.
good.
It happens.
Where's Chance?
He has a big school project. He's for the final. He's working
School
on.
comes first, unlike you.
Well, now I know
They
why
making
he.
toothpicks. They're making a boat out of toothpicks.
No.
Is that the project?
No.
Now I
They're
know why
trying-
his
they're doing
eyes
a-
lit up
They're
yesterday
doing
at the
an
band thing.
experiment with
When I went to
pictures
say
of
hi to
you
these
on
guys,
900
Chance,
shows
when I said, he goes,
and why you're
"Oh,
so
are you gonna be
thin
there
now."
tomorrow night?" When I said, "Yeah,"
So Linda,
I could tell something was going on. He's probably thinking, "Oh, good, I can miss that if you're gonna be there."
That's their project.
so
Yes.
Linda, when did Greg pass?
I don't know. The last time I saw him was at our 20th reunion. He came later into
Thanks
the
for
bar
coming in.
part. It was
Sure.
at some hotel on Green Tree.
Nick said the
That was
team won
97.
17-2.
Last time
He
I
was
saw
on his way
him. So
here.
I don't really know. We could probably
Yeah.
Google
He-
it.
Yeah, he
Stop
moved down
and
to
get
South
something to
Carolina.
eat, so
Oh,
he'll be
okay.
here,
And
I guess,
he was
sometime.
doing
Oh, Nick
floor
is coming.
tiles.
Yeah,
Did you
At
say
that point.
you
two?
got the
Because
seat.
I'm also,
Okay.
my
Put
classmate
him in
was
the
Max
waiting
Stalder, who was in
on the VMix
Streetheart
program.
with
Did
Mark
you say
Kahn
two?
and Jeff
We're on
Machine.
YouTube. on
Jim
Facebook.
Jimerson that
You know, I
sings at
was
the Penguin games
Yep.
and stuff. So they were good
Machine.
friends. Mark was
Nick
like
gets
one of my
mad when I ask
besties.
that. Thanks, Michael.
And Max,
Did you say
I kind of got
two?
reconnected with since I moved back.
17-2.
Okay,
Two
So-
is the amount of votes he needed.
my next
I don't
Tuesday,
know, did he lose?
my next Tuesday is June 10th.
Yeah.
That's good because I'm leaving on the 14th and coming back on the 20th to go to Maine.
Oh,
So
okay.
that week I'll be out of town. So we don't have to make any
No
adjustments.
switcheroo, all right.
No switcheroo, it's just.
You two are
Michael.
amicable,
It's so
I'm
more
glad.
back and forth. I just, someone let me know when I need to be
Is
here.
that-
I never keep track of it.
Oh,
Maybe Bubba.
okay.
Maybe Bubba will be in.
I thought you. I thought there was something.
Every
on.
other
They wait
enlisted
until June.
change.
No, it'll be a good show.
No, I
I'll
appreciate it.
occasionally just text
Les
you and
Monday.
say, am I on or
Wait
what?
until June to bring Bubba.
We'll be looking at Linda tonight.
Oh, he's gonna be coming up soon.
Charles
But you know what, though?
Oh, he looks a lot darker.
You
He's
know, I
got to
just
angle
look
the
at the other
light.
guys anyway.
Michael,
You know,
look at his
yeah,
shot.
great
It's
to bring
in the
up all
dark.
this pitching.
Is
It's
that
kind of,
better?
you bumped it with your head, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just have to
He
angle
hit his
this a
head
little
hard, he
bit,
doesn't remember.
person to person. See, now it's too high. I can't do a straight pan because of different heights.
Then you can.
So I'll go down. I'll just do that. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
give me a phone
Lower
book.
the tripod.
Jim's
If you give me a
first.
phone
Jim's
book,
Am I
first.
light enough? Am I
I'll be the
light
same as
enough?
Jim.
You're too dark.
Hey, you know who I went and saw? at
You're too
concert?
dark, homie.
You know who I went and saw? at concert
Hey, we got a
already?
minute to go. What the heck's going on?
Awesome.
Did you?
Do you want that door open or
Wow, he's so
closed?
Open.
How old is he now?
Oh.
81
It doesn't
years old.
matter.
It's not in the shot of you.
I don't really care.
Did he?
I'm
Killed
gonna
it.
Wow. Very manly.
I aim for
I
perfection.
figured you were gonna ask me, who's that? I was gonna tell you.
Curse of
Only-
my
This is
mom.
only my 993rd Sportsline show.
We're almost 1,000.
Yeah, you'd think they'd have a party for me. Maybe you can work on that.
Get your
Wait.
cake.
It's counting 6, 7, 8.
Are we starting? Okay, I pressed 3.
Takes a look. Deflected scores! Letang! Could you script it any better than this?
Pitch it to Najee Harris. Harris sidesteps, gets to the sideline. Najee Harris dives for the pylon. Touchdown, Steelers.
I don't think I expected anything less.
It's unbelievable. It is absolutely incredible.
Welcome to another live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studio, right here in the Municipal Building, 5100 West Library Avenue. Thank you for watching us. We appreciate you on Facebook. We're at 7,455 followers and only 6,950 friends. So I like the 7450. So appreciate it.
I thought it was 5-5.
5-5, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
The zeros.
Yeah, the
Zeros and fives are major
Yeah,
numbers.
they-
So, yeah, I slip it in there once in a while.
Round
Yeah.
up, Al. Round up.
Okay, on YouTube, we appreciate you on YouTube. Chip, I'm rounding up to 401.
Nice.
We
Nice.
gained one in a week. Would somebody else please sign up? Not yet. All right, we got hope. Thank you for watching the shows, and you can interact with us on Facebook. We appreciate you. If you're on TV and we're not on there at times, like baseball bumped us off, football, lacrosse, you name it. Nick is working with the high school. By the way, he said, did I hear the score? He did baseball in the rain. Bethel Park Blackhawks 17. I don't know who they played. They only got 2
This is Mr.
runs.
Bold with
Little
your
sisters
Bethel
of the
Park.
poor.
They're cousins. They're a little older. They're cousins. No offense to Little Sisters of the Poor. They're a great organization and group. All right, glad we could do that. Al Levine, the talking machine. Smoking Jim Frazier, a.k.a. Lazarus. And we're checking the film from the first show into our 99 second show. And we got 993 tonight. And we want to know, how much weight do you think he has lost? Whoever guesses it, it'll only be judged by Smoking Jim, who's an honest man.
Well, you know what? You can stack that one right next to his age.
Hey, Chip, you must have been reading our minds.
What year?
Me and Mario Tempest were talking to Bill Boyce, and we go, yeah, we keep talking about how old is Smoking Jim. And Mario said he knew. So we'll leave it go with that. Chip Hayner's back with us. You know he's representing who? The Pirates. Mike Rohde's filling in for Nick because he did the baseball game. He's in transit. I think he stopped to get something to eat, and he may appear in the studio. If he does, he's not going to know this, but we use VMix. I'm going to have him sit in the waiting room, and we'll put his face to talk sports with us.
All right.
And we got a promo coming up. I'm going to test Linda, the World Traveler. She's here. We got this for June 14th. It's Hearts and Paws 19th Annual Pet Adoption and Care Fair. All right, I'll read that in a second. Let's get this up. Linda, how's that look? Whoa. Whoa.
Pow.
Wow, that looks powerful. Linda got the eye. She's learned that camera in the year she's been here.
She's just showing off.
She's only been here for 28 days, but she's got a year under her belt. So we appreciate Linda. Look at that. All right, check it out. It's Hearts and Paws 19th Annual Pet Adoption and Care Fair. My neighbor down the street on Church, Nancy, she's rescued pets as long as I've known her, for 18 years. Saturday, June 14th, 9:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Christ Church, 44 Highland Road. Y'all know where it is, heading up towards 19. Animals for adoption, pet products and services, raffle baskets and boutique, great festival food, Kids Corner, and Animal Art. They give a website, CHRISTUMC.net/pet ministry. That's all I can do. Now watch those promos and please support them. Thank you. In 10 seconds.
Mr. Bold with your Bethel Park Minute. The award-winning Bethel Park Farmers Market continues this Tuesday from 3 to 7 p.m. in South Park on Corrigan Drive next to the ice rink. The municipality of Bethel Park is looking for qualified candidates for the wastewater treatment plant superintendent position. Bethel Park Recreation is still hiring summer camp counselors. They're looking for boys and girls ages 16 and older. The pay is $13.50 per hour.
I think he's going to be
For all of your current job openings, go to the Bethel Park website careers page for more information and to apply. This Saturday is our monthly yard waste drop-off on Slater Road from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. We will not, I say again, not accept old trees that have been cut down or entire truckloads of branches. Bethel Park Public Works will hold their annual Touch a Truck event at the Public Works Garage this Sunday from 12 to 3. Bring the family for a wide variety of fun and free activities. Columbia Gas will begin work on replacing a gas main along Oregon Trail and Wells Drive. The work will take approximately 3 to 4 months to complete. They are proposing to begin work on Monday, May 21st. The work hours will be 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Flaggers will be on site for traffic control. This has been Mr. Bold with your Bethel Park Minute.
Frank Venera, owner of Olive Oil's Pizzeria and the Hillcrest Shopping Center on Route 88. Call them at 412-831-1900. Every Tuesday night, Olive Oil's Pizzeria provides the host and the amazing volunteer crew with an XL pepperoni pizza and a full steak hoagie. They are delicious. Olive Oils is proud to support Pittsburgh Sportsline and the volunteers at BPTV.
Go ahead. What?
Stay Joey strong. Joey Fabus died at 8 years old of brain cancer known as DIPG. Since then, the family has come together with community members to create the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit. Since being founded, they've raised over $100,000. Go to jfccf.org to learn more about DIPG, to help spread awareness, and to see how else you can support and donate towards the fight against this dreaded brain cancer.
That's the first place I bought a 6-pack underage. Someone goes, go to the tennis center. I never.
Always Be Smiling, a 501c3 designed to help children and families in need of kidney transplants. The B stands for Bennett, whose memory is embedded in this organization by his parents, Kristen and Dean. Despite the challenges he faced in his 16 and a half years of life, Bennett always had a smile on his face and spread kindness to everyone he could. Now, Always Be Smiling wants to pass on that kindness. Go to alwaysbesmiling.org to learn more and see how you can support or donate to this organization.
Yeah, I think he's good looking.
He was my best friend by 6th grade. Yeah, Chuck Villa, his younger brother, played football for
The Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. I'm Al Levine, trustee on the board of this great organization. The BPCF focuses on raising money to provide scholarships, grants, endowments, and more. Grant requests are available online from $100 to $5,000. You can also attend fundraisers or donate. Go to bpcf.org to get more information and to stay up to date on upcoming events. The Bethel Park Community Foundation, focusing community resources, building for the future. The Bethel Park Historical Society is a 501c3 that serves Bethel Park. The Historical Society operates out of the Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, located at 2600 South Park Road. Look for the red and white trolley right out front. Reginald's Coffee is inside, and I've heard it's the best coffee around. To visit this great historical venue, email historicalsocietybp@gmail.com.
5, 4, 3.
Hey, thanks for supporting those promos. We've got a few people watching. Peggy Rohde, Ann Harder. Ann Harder said, watching from Texas Roadhouse. And thanks for bringing Michael in. Luckily, I didn't have to put the code in this time, holding a pizza and a cookie cake and a hoagie. Peggy Rohde, hi guys. I saw you while I was marching yesterday in your driveway, Marco said. And Marco Rohde said they played Peters. Hey, Marco. Get a close-up, Linda.
That's beautiful. That's one of the best cookies I've ever seen.
Happy birthday, Marco. Absent Rohde again.
Can't wait to eat it.
We gonna eat this of whatever's left. Of course, Smoking Jim takes leftovers home, and he has guests there, so you never know if you'll
I won't do that to Marco. I won't do that. That's my man.
Yeah, but you know,
his dad's right next to me. And
I heard his daughter's got a sweet tooth.
You know what? I forgot to put a mic on. I don't know if they even heard me.
Michael, you didn't say if you heard me on the mic. Welcome to another Pittsburgh Sportsline live show. Okay, great. I'm glad I talked. Guess what? We got to cut the cake, and I'm very technical. I cut it in half.
Wasn't that AWB Cut the Cake? Wasn't that them?
Who?
That song, AWB. Wasn't that their song, Cut the Cake?
I don't know.
Yeah. I was asking
You mean Average White
No,
Band?
pick up the pieces.
Pick up the pieces. Okay. Pick up the pieces. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's
Good.
And I cut it into 8 pieces because we like our chocolate chip cake.
Boy, that knife looked like something out of Friday the 13th, bro.
hey.
That's some good stuff, man.
We'll call him Freddie.
Freddie.
We'll try to get some pieces out there. And
All right. Give me something with some white on it.
all right, you ain't right. This is too hard. Chip, give that our friend. I'm losing weight, Smoking Jim.
You know what I like.
All right, Chip, I got you one. We may need a couple more plates this way, but we'll figure it out. You want one or two?
Just half of one, please.
Half
Well,
of
I'll give it.
Oh,
Half
come
of
on,
one.
grow up.
How you gonna feed them biceps, man? You gotta feed them biceps,
I'll give
bro.
you that to take home and you eat what you want. How's that? All right, Linda, you get a piece.
Half.
Lots of junk in.
All right, here's a smaller one.
Give him half the
Don't
cake.
forget Mikey. Don't forget
Give him half
Mikey.
the cookie. She said she wanted
You want
half.
it now?
Yeah, you can have it now. Go ahead.
Set it there for you.
I need another plate for me. Oh, I think I got it.
Yeah, Mikey.
All right, we got Mikey here. All right. Hey, Mike, you can come out of the control room, grab this cake. The show must go on. I got my piece. See, I had to get white.
Yeah.
Marco, this is delicious.
I'll bring you home a piece.
Went fast, isn't it?
Oh, we're still doing a show?
You want some napkins? Want some kins?
Yeah, pass me one or two.
Some kins. You have some kins.
Thanks for watching us eat cake. Marco, we salute you, 18 years old.
All right, Marco.
I remember when I was 18, June 30th, 1974.
Register to vote.
I did. I voted that year, first time, and I haven't missed since.
Me neither.
Smoking Jim, he is not an honest man. What's on your mind, Smoking Jim Frazier?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
Yeah.
you got to see Levine. I tell you what, man, I think this show has the best promos. And every time I see Paul Skeens pitching, I always think to myself, if the catcher can catch the ball, I can hit the ball. So I don't know what's the problem is.
First disclaimer of the night.
I went 8 for 8.
Smoking Jim never played baseball. His stories are great. He's known as the entertainer of Pittsburgh
I'm going to
Sportsline.
throw one of his phrases back at him.
Go ahead.
He strove to be 8 and 8.
He didn't want to be great.
Al Levine, the Taco Machine. I tell you what, man, I ain't gonna say nothing negative no more about Bethel Park. They're building a Popeyes Al Levine, the Taco Machine. I seen that today. I got out and started dancing in the rain. Al Levine, the Taco Machine. I tell you what, Al Levine, the Taco Machine.
Yeah.
You've gone to a movie once a week for the last 14 years that I've known you. Nearly 800 movies. Mike Rohde gives me The Shield. I've been through that twice. Chance last week gave me Point Break. That was an excellent film. I loved it. You never gave me a tip on any film, Al Levine, the Taco Machine. 800 feet, 800. I'm a movie buff. You didn't think I would like one of those movies?
Yeah, I know the movie he was saving for you. White Man Can't Jump.
Yeah. Except for Cooper DeJean.
Smoking Jim. My son Drew is treated to me to movies, and I pay to go to movies. And I know we don't know what you do for a living. You only have ones in your pocket. Sometimes there's one. Sometimes there's numerous. So I didn't want you to deplete your ones. And I've succeeded for 14 years. And I appreciate your compliment.
Well, that's what's on my mind. Chance, who's not here tonight, gave me a great movie, Point Break. I never heard of it. And Chip, you need to give me some references on movies. I know you like movies.
Unfortunately, I can't stay awake through most of them. I have a very short attention span.
And that's what's on my mind.
Thank you, Smoking Jim. We appreciate you. And by the way, Chance is missing because he's working on a school project. That's something you can't even comprehend.
Does it involve toothpicks, gluing toothpicks together to make
Well,
something?
you're going to have me bring up...
Like a ship or a boat?
No, like everybody look at Smoking Jim. This is like the 670-some show that we've done in the studio. I want you to go on our YouTube page and take a picture of the first show, take a picture of last week's show, and look at this show. And anybody that guesses his weight, you'll win something, maybe a piece of cake. We'll save it in my freezer. But that's what we'll do with Smoking. Hopefully it'll keep him quiet if the pizza and the cake don't. Chip Hayner, what's on your mind?
Well, thank you, Alan, and it's great to be back this week. Couple of things on my mind, and they are absolutely sports related, but they don't necessarily have anything to do with Pittsburgh sports, and I think that we shouldn't just narrowly focus on the three major sports teams that we have here in Pittsburgh. So one of the things, and I know this is a subject that's near and dear to Alan's heart, is what is going on in the WNBA right now.
Yeah.
The WNBA was finally put on the map last year with one of the most exciting college players to ever play the game. Became a pro and proved why she was to be considered one of the best players in the league. And I'm talking about Caitlin Clark, and I can't believe all the negativity that is surrounding her and her existence in the WNBA. She's done more for the WNBA in 1 year than a lot of other players have done in all the years that the WNBA's been around. Now, you know, in the WNBA, and most people don't know many of the players' names, Asia Wilson is by far the best player in the league, without any question of a doubt. That is undisputed. Caitlin Clark could potentially become one of the best players, one of the best female players to ever play the game, and she's well on her way to doing that. And, you know, what bothers me about what's going on in the WNBA is you've got, you know, every sports league has their loudmouth. And they have the one player that is probably the most overrated player in the league, but makes the most amount of noise and, you know, is always ready to point the finger of blame at somebody other than her own inadequacies. And I'm talking about Angel Reese.
That's my baby.
And Angel Reese couldn't make a layup if her life depended on it. And she gets 15 rebounds a game because 14 of them are from the first shot she missed and the second shot she missed and the third shot she missed. And I think that she's just jealous that somebody is getting more attention than she is.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's a white woman makes it even worse. And I just think it's a pathetic way for the league to present itself. And I think that all the women in the league should embrace one another, do everything they can to grow the product, instead of this constant conflict.
Headbutting, yeah.
I don't think the conflict's going to do the league very good. Because to be honest with you, all of the teams in the WNBA don't make any money.
Well, I got a point on that, Chip. I got a couple stats for you. Caitlin Clark brought in 26.4% of revenue in the WNBA. Her team, the Fever, was worth $90 million last year. Now they're $350 million.
Wow.
And guess what they're on now? More people are watching them than NBA teams. That's the men. They've been around for 25 years. So imagine somebody changing it. I predicted the Caitlin wave would carry through.
Well, one of the things that happened after she joined the league was they started getting chartered flights.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of having to fly.
Great point.
They fly.
And
you know, so that, you know, but these are all positive things. And instead of trying to tear somebody down, why don't you try to build upon that and work together to try to make a better product? Because to be honest with you, right now, if it wasn't for the NBA teams that were funding the WNBA
for 25 years,
it wouldn't even exist because they don't make any money. Now you've got the Indiana Fever that are selling out games. Maybe that can all change. Maybe they get that big national television contract.
What they did is, can you imagine you go to a Pirate game and instead of having 38,000, you go to Acrisure Stadium to sell that out? That's what the equivalency is with Caitlin Clark. They go to bigger arenas.
She's out for the next 2 weeks, though. She's hurt.
Well, it's going to happen.
You know what? Even though she's out, I saw a video of her draining 3-pointers this afternoon while she's injured. Go ahead.
Can we all at least agree that Angel Reese is good looking, brother?
No.
Can we agree to that?
No, you know what?
I'm on every one of her fan pages.
Physically, she may be attractive. The way she presents herself ugly. Okay, if that makes sense.
Ugly like
Catwoman. So
ugly
yeah,
like
but
Catwoman.
she doesn't seem like a genuinely
but
a person that I would want to sit down and have a meal with. I wouldn't. Not on a bet. So that's
Smoking Jim, we disagree. One more stat.
I wouldn't give up Kim Kardashian
one
for
more
her, but other than
stat for
that,
Chip, for the haters.
Who is she married to?
Kim Kardashian.
Mm-hmm.
Is she still married?
I don't know. Who was she married to?
That's what he's asking.
Whoever it is.
Yeah, I never heard of her.
Kanye.
I never heard of her.
One more stat for the haters.
Hope.
Caitlin Clark is the fastest to get the 750 points, 250 rebounds,
saw that,
and 250 assists. Now, they're all hating on her and hitting on her. Imagine she bulked up a little bit and has some muscles, and that's what people talk about.
She dropped her fiance pretty quick,
No, what
too.
they did was they brought in the enforcer, and the enforcer is one of the best-looking women in the WNBA. Sophie Cunningham.
Yes.
She is easy on the eyes.
She dropped her fiance pretty quick, too.
Smoking Jim, we don't know how many women you
I don't
date.
know. You know what? I don't care about their personal lives.
You're not a judge of women. You might be a model scout. You might be an NFL scout. You're not a baseball scout or expert.
So my one last point, and I think there's another good one. Something that I think should be discussed is the way that name, image, and likeness has ruined college athletics. Okay? And this is not just in the NCAA basketball, but also what's going on with football. And I read an article today, and I read a quote attributed to Nick Saban. Nick Saban, we can say probably the greatest college football coach that we've seen in our lifetimes. We can agree on that, okay? Mm-hmm. He retired because he said after the last game that his team played that the players' only concern was how much playing time am I going to get next year, and how much money are you willing to pay me, or I'm going somewhere else.
Or I'm going in the portal, yeah.
So that being said, then you see the mess that happened with Shedeur Sanders, who tried to manipulate the NFL draft to go to where he wanted to. And the NFL is just such a big entity. They're like, you know what, son, you're playing with the big boys now. We're not going to be played by you.
Good point,
And ultimately, he lost millions of dollars because he thought that, oh, this is just like college. I can go wherever I want and name my price. Well, it doesn't work that way in the real world.
It worked for Eli Manning and John Elway.
Well, you know what? Those were special circumstances. And yeah, and for those two it did, but how about the hundreds and thousands of other athletes that it didn't work for?
Didn't John Elway do that?
Yeah,
John Elway did it, and so did Eli Manning.
Elway had the Yankees as the threat, right?
Right.
He said he was going to go play baseball, and
That's what I
the
thought.
Mannings are the Mannings,
Right.
right? So there's a little bit different thing there. I think Sanders, if
Hold it.
anything,
When you
is
got
a pariah
Sanders
in
in
the
your
NFL.
dad's prime time,
Well,
the greatest promoter of a Hall of
he's
Famer
got as
who
many-
didn't make a tackle.
He's got as many enemies as fans.
I hope next year when the Steelers draft Arch Manning that they let him come to Pittsburgh.
So the point I'm making about how I feel, and this is my humble opinion, how I feel the college athletics are being ruined right now, is that you've got coaches are under so much scrutiny and so much pressure to win now. Okay, and how you used to be able to recruit kids, get them into your system, develop them, turn them into stars. They move on to the NFL, but you have them for a couple of years. Now you don't. Okay, and so there's the quality of the game is going downhill, and there is the thing that bothers me the most about this name, image, and likeness. I feel that athletic scholarships should become a thing of the past. There should only be academic scholarships, and if they're going to go to college to play football, then you should not be getting a free ride. If you're getting paid, then you should have to pay your way the way any other child does. Now, kids that didn't get an athletic scholarship, they got to take out student loans that they spend the next 30 or 40 years paying off. Well, you're getting $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 million for each season that you play. Why can't you pay for your room, your board, your education, and so forth and so on? Because you're not there for an education anyhow.
Right.
So why should they waste a scholarship when there's somebody that would benefit from a scholarship that couldn't financially make it into college?
Right.
They could probably do more good for the world than some clown in a uniform would.
Yeah, well, I'll go back a little bit in time when I heard the NIL was coming out, because with my history with unions and negotiating, my thought was the schools take advantage of the programs and make money off of the athletes. So have money paid to every player, a certain percentage for any player that makes the team.
No.
I'm saying what I thought. This is my opinion. I thought, because when do you hear, since NIL, we have student athletes? Has that even been said lately? Think about it.
Best players make the money. Worst players don't get nothing.
Well, Smoking Jim, we don't know what you do for a living, so you have no credibility.
So you're telling me the third string punter shouldn't get paid?
Shouldn't get a dime.
Here's my point. Anybody willing to sacrifice and do two a days or whatever, pay them some minimum wage or something else, and then have different levels of payment for stars and greater athletes, but cap it at 250,000, 500,000.
There's a lot of different
But I'm
ideas.
saying you needed somebody in charge. If you have guide rails, you could negotiate that up or down, but pay all the athletes because they're in programs like that.
I think these are great conversations to be had, and I think there is a way to fix what is broken. But the fact of the matter is that there should be a pay scale so that all of the athletes get some money. Because if all you're going to pay is the stars,
that's right.
Then you're ruining the whole system. And stars don't necessarily.
Chip, I agree 100%.
The stars don't necessarily win, or the reason why a program wins. It's the contributions of the other X number of teammates that help you get there.
How do you spell team? There's no I in it.
Why do you think the NCAA basketball tournament was always such a joy to watch? Because the teams with the stars got bounced, and the teams that had 5 players working together as one.
Hold it,
were
Jamie
the ones
Dixon
that,
got fired because he was working with all 5 players and got us in the tournament. He was using the NCAA how it should be.
Good point.
You didn't let me finish my thing, Smoking Jim. Coaches, when they sign a contract, mean nothing. I think players should have a 3-year deal with staying at one school, and if they could get more money because now they're a star, let them go for whatever that level would be. And guess what? Make coaches stay for 3 years to start. Because you don't have any rules in the college game. I hate watching it now.
Yeah, it's like watching the NBA. It's unwatchable.
I only watch it during the playoffs. I'm watching Smoking Jim's Thunder team. So I'm watching them, and I'm watching T.J. McConnell from Chartiers Valley.
Indiana.
With the Pacers. So
I
glad I could go on a little vent and a rant that Smoking Jim disagrees
I'm sorry
with.
if I took up a lot of time.
No.
But I wanted to start a conversation about something other than let's just kick the Pittsburgh sports teams while they're down.
You sound like a real hater tonight.
No, I'm not a hater. I'm just, these are things that I think, and I think they're things there should be conversations for.
Well, the only good thing about it was what Chip said, and everything that Jim said, I know I'm right. I mean, you can't get a better verification from a Cal U graduate that there's not even a Cal U any. It's like West Penn. So he talks about how great it was, and Vulcans, he didn't even know he was like Spock. But yeah, we could go crazy. But hey, Peggy Rohde's watching. Hi, everyone. Handsome panel there. Enjoying the show in Rochester, New York. Nick and Peggy, our biggest fans in Rochester. We appreciate you. Ralph Williams said, hello, guys. Chief said, well said, Chipper. He disagrees with Smoking Jim being a hater.
Chief. Thanks, Chief.
Go, Chief. All right, we got Michael Rohde. What's on your mind? Besides cake going home for Marco.
One of the reasons I like going last is I get to listen to a lot of interesting opinions.
Well, before me, anyhow.
Yeah, I'll kick back. Chip's comments. My thing. I agree with you completely about college football.
This side agrees with you,
but I think the toothpaste is out of the tube. There's the problem. Football should have fixed things before this all happened.
Yeah. NCAA was lax.
But the problem is you've got these universities that are their own entity. Then they're part of individual conferences at their own entity, of which they have no loyalty to one another whatsoever. Then you've got this loose body called the NCAA was trying to do their thing, and everybody always fought and argued about what was. And at the end of the day, the entire thing was about what?
Money,
right? And so they had their opportunity, in my opinion, to put some of these things in place, but at the end of the day, all these schools are out for their own interests, right? That's all they're there for. They switch conferences, they move around, so they're going to go for what is.
Didn't an AD get fired at Pitt because she wanted to support all the other sports?
Yeah, it's
she lost her job supporting all the other sports in college. What's college about?
Yeah, it's long gone. I don't think it's ever going to go back. It's too far out.
Well, here the phrase is Pandora's box is open.
Yeah, you're not going to put that back.
You can't close.
Now you just have players in a series
Look it
of
up,
one-year
Pandora's
contracts.
box, Smoking.
On a WNBA, it is nice to hear about the WNBA. Other than they might go on strike. Like every 3 or 4 years, you heard how the WNBA players were going to go on strike. Yeah. Until someone reminded them that they don't make any money, the league, so then they wouldn't be on strike. So it is nice to see them in the news for something other than that, even if it is basically just women's roller derby, smacking each other around underneath the basket or up and down the court.
But they do focus on one woman pretty good who's white.
I talked about
the referees swallow whistles, which my dad's smiling. He goes, "Alan, you're right."
They did the same thing with I don't know why they did it with Stars. They did the same thing with Crosby, let him get batted around, Lemieux, whatever. But what I really wanted to say was, and I can't believe I'm the guy talking about the Pirates for crying out loud.
Well, you've been going to see them lately, so you know.
We mentioned this last week, and I wanted to talk on it again.
You have free reign.
After last week when we talked about trading Skeens, and everybody said that's such a crazy idea. On Nick's own station, 93.7 The Fan, I can't remember who there was who said it, but they said, according to a GM, they said it would be quite easy to get from a team.
He went with you.
A major league first baseman, a major league second baseman, 2 top prospects, and a former all-star pitcher.
Wow.
For Skeens. This is not me. Like I said, this was floating around the airwaves.
Is huge.
And I said to myself, if that is the case,
I'm with you.
then why aren't they doing it? Because, again, you sell a lot of tickets when Skeens is there, but imagine if you have a winning team. Because if you bring in those kind of players, now you're making the other people on the team better as well. You literally, and so the thing with me with Skeens, it's a strategic move. It's not about money, because they have him for the next however many years.
3 more years.
Right? It's not about that. This would be about a strategic baseball move. If that is true, that they could bring in that kind of return for one guy, when, oh, by the way, they've got this number 2 rated overall prospect in the league, Bubba Chandler. They've got their pitching's not the problem.
Right.
They that's the one thing they've done pretty well. Jones is going to be back next year. They're going to have pitching. So you don't have Skeens anymore. I get it. But if you can bring all that back in return, now you're making Nick Gonzalez. Gonzalez, I give him the Gus Frerotte award for the most ridiculous injury.
Oh, I like that.
When he first game trotting around after a home run breaks his foot. But,
No,
you move him over
he actually injured his foot in spring training.
Oh, was it really?
Yes, and it just didn't heal, and it just simply got worse. They had to sit him.
All right, I take back my Gus Frerotte award. Then I'll save it.
No,
for someone
I like
else.
it. On Pittsburgh Sportsline, we appreciate that as a classic statement.
But
now
you take guys like that and you put guys like that into that core, and now you've got something. Now you're going to make all of these guys. Hayes, Reynolds, you're going to make all of these guys better just by having other bats around them. So again, if that really is true, in my opinion, I guess we all really know the Pirates are there. They're not really there to win, but if that is true, we'll never know. But like I said, it's a strategic, sound move, in my opinion, to trade him now. He's not even been here a full year. Nobody can be that attached to him yet.
I think it's. Personally, myself, I think that kind of talk's ridiculous, and none of it's founded in even a shred of fact. And to be honest with you, what guarantee is there that whomever you get back in return from him is going to perform at the level that you expect him to perform at?
Well, that's with any trade.
Well,
you can talk about that.
And who knows what Paul Skeens is going to do? I mean, I hope this doesn't happen, but I think I look at what happened to Jared Jones.
It's like
come up and he's a flamethrower, and he's out there throwing maximum effort, and now we're not going to see him for 12 to 18 months. Okay, right. And that is something that could potentially happen. Skeens is somebody that you're going to keep on your roster. You're going to talk about trading him in 4 years.
You're not going to get that
because he's
return
not
in
going
4
to
years.
finish. He's not going to finish his career here.
No.
Same thing it was with Garrett Cole when we signed him.
Right.
We knew damn well that he was never going to finish his career.
Yes, we did.
That's just the nature of Major League Baseball.
What I'm saying is
6 years and that's it. You're
what
done.
I'm saying now is you could. He's never more maximum value than right now. Right now. So you're going to get when people know you have to trade him, they're not going to be giving up much. But when they know you to get a king's ransom for the guy, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's going to happen. No. It probably is ridiculous.
I appreciate the
but
opinions
that's why we're talking. It's a talk.
No, that's it.
So
we can have
that's a strategic move, baseball move that I would be 100%
Mike,
behind.
we could have differences of opinion, and it doesn't mean that you're wrong and that I'm right. It's just we could have differences of opinion and debate it and move on.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Well,
that's the only way they're going to turn a corner by making. They have a chance now that they haven't had in a long time to turn around the organization like that.
Well, on our 993rd show, I've had this mantra that we never let the facts get in the way of our opinions. So it's for you to strain out the opinions.
We never let the facts get in the way of Jim's curse.
No. And right now, I want to know who cursed that he can't eat pizza and cake so he can keep losing weight. Who put the curse on him? But we'll find that out. All right, Al, what's on your mind? You covered some of my stuff. You covered some of mine. You didn't even touch my stuff. Nobody mentioned Steelers OTAs. Why are all the stars that got signed and everything not being there?
And why are we still waiting with Aaron Rodgers deciding on when he can come into camp with us, which everybody's guaranteeing. And I had predicted that this would happen, but we're not at preseason, so I can't confirm him. But what bothers me is TJ Watt's not in. And we battled this the last time when he signed his last contract, in 2021 he started to do this. Is he more serious now because of Garrett getting that huge contract? Could he hold out for the season? What do you think? He's well-liked. He's legendary in Pittsburgh. Smoking Jim predicted his first game he'd be in the Hall of Fame. I concur he will, but will he retire as a Steeler? That's the question I have for everybody speculating. Do I even care about it? I'm on the record, trade him now because I'm going with the roadie philosophy. This is the highest value you can get before next year. And we'll see what happens. All right. Fiction and fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac in 10 seconds. See, Karen, we hear him.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And I talk about this every couple of years for all the new fans on YouTube and Facebook that we always get and that probably never heard this story. So I'll go through it real quick. Al Levine, the talking machine.
Do I have to listen to it?
I used to send my draft report to Tom Donahoe. And Tom Donahoe used to send me a donation back, Al Levine, the talking machine. He was a tougher negotiator than you, Al Levine, the talking machine. So I was always honored.
No, there's many out there, but tell the fans who Tom Donahoe was. He was a friend of my dad.
He was director of personnel of the Steelers, but
that Bill Cowher got fired.
Basically a general manager. So in 2000,
Cowher won that battle.
So in 2000, Tom Donahoe invited me to help him with the draft. A few days later, he got fired, but the Steelers still honored it. It was at Three Rivers Stadium there. Food was catered in. I go in, Al Levine, the talking machine. I get fired because I can't stop talking about Chris Combs. They drafted a defensive lineman from Duke. I went nuts. I wouldn't stop talking about it. I said he'd be a big bust. 2 years later, he was a big bust, so they called me back in 2003. Al Levine, the talking machine. By this time, their facilities is over the south side. On their board, Al Levine, the talking machine, they had Alonzo Jackson. And I thought I was going to get fired again because I said, why don't you just bring back Huey Richardson?
Little side note, did you eat your 2 steaks cooked by black
By this
chefs?
time, they had a restaurant that wasn't catered, and they had black cooks. And I always get 3 times a day, meat lover, omelet, and a steak. Al Levine, the talking machine.
Wow.
So, in no notes, I'm up there eating. Everybody got their notes in their paper all there. And
Well,
I'm
it's
eating.
all in your head.
Number 2 on their list was Larry Johnson, running back from Penn State. Number 3 was Troy Polamalu. They didn't think they'd be able to get him. Steelers move up in the draft, give up a 3rd-round pick, get Troy Polamalu. Don't forget the draft was Saturday and Sunday only. First 3 rounds was Saturday. 4 through 7 was Sunday, right?
I remember.
The talking machine. Back then, a lot of people didn't have cell phones and stuff. So when they drafted Troy, I called Troy. The Steelers don't know that they can sign him. They're getting a busy signal. I call. Troy's doing the Polynesian dance. We're talking about his roommate Palmer. Carson Palmer was his roommate.
Great
We're on the
quarterback.
phone for 20 minutes. Steelers going nuts. I didn't realize they was trying to call because they didn't know if Troy was going to come or not. So the next day,
Well, he only had 9 concussions.
Yeah. The next day, Al Levine, the talking machine, is round 4. Bill Cowher comes in. Bill Cowher says, we need a cornerback, but there's no cornerbacks left. I said, my number 1 rated cornerback's still on the board. He's 6'1", 195 pounds, got a 43-inch vertical jump and runs a 4.26 40. They look around. They're like, no, he'd have been a top 10 pick. Who's this guy? I said, Ivan Taylor from Southwest Louisiana, which is Louisiana Lafayette now. Al Levine, the talking machine. They called the coach. They said, yeah, all that is true. I don't know why he wasn't invited to the combine. Steelers took a chance. He's probably the 2nd or 3rd greatest corner behind Mel Blount, J.T. Thomas on the Pittsburgh Steelers team. Myron Cope interviewed me. It's the first time in all the years, and I'm a big Mel Kiper fan.
Yeah.
First time, because we turned up the sound on the TV after the draft pick, Kiper didn't know who Ivan Taylor was. Of course, he's Ike Taylor now. End up being a big star. Bought me a few more years with the Pittsburgh Steelers, like 20.
2 points, Smoking Jim. One, did they tell you that he had stone hands?
That's why nobody knew.
Point number 2.
That's why he wasn't a wide receiver.
Well, here's before you go to point number 2. Here's the reason nobody knew but me. I watch 2 game films a day, 365 days a year, even on Christmas.
How many games?
El Levine, the talking machine. That's a bunch.
Don't know.
It's a bunch. El Levine, the talking machine. His first 2 years, he was academically ineligible. His third year, he was He was a backup running back.
He'd go to Gateway.
His last year, they got a new coaching staff in. They moved him to cornerback. How do you get recognition as a corner? Interceptions. He don't get interceptions. But if you watch film, he was a shutdown corner, just like he was in the NFL. He's an unbelievable player.
How come he didn't go to a bigger school? Was it if he was just
academically ineligible he shouldn't have been going to that school. He should have been going to like a school like Slippery Rock. My cat could get a degree.
No, here's what happened. He was like Smoking
Cal
Jim. No, here's a little side note. Ike Taylor was like Smoking Jim. They said, Jim, you need to take SATs. He go, what's SAT? So guess what they asked Ike Taylor? He goes, can you spell that again?
He's sitting there searching, trying to find what statistic does that notate.
Exactly. I've been holding that back for years. Then the major point, that was a little side one. The major point is I give all the credit to Mel Kiper Jr. for starting the draft day and making all of you geeks about it.
Yes, sir.
But his record and stats are terrible. And when him not knowing about Ike Taylor, just look at the last draft at what he didn't know.
Well, I'm 97%.
And he became a millionaire and a legend, sort of like Smoking Jim. And he agrees with them. Do you listen to what Mel Kiper says?
Oh, I gave you my opinion on Mel Kiper
Just
a couple of weeks
yes
ago.
Or no.
Yeah, no.
And same with me. And like I don't even study the draft, but I like the draft to see what results we get and who's going to be here. Yeah. That's what I like. Glad I could go on a little diatribe again. Thank you for inspiring me, guys. Chip Hayner, we're going to trivia time in 10 seconds.
Okay, well, some things that I'm a baseball historian. Okay.
Yeah.
Love the game. Some of the changes they've made to the game in the last few years, I'm not necessarily a fan of, but I still love the game of baseball. I go every chance I get, and I was there Saturday night, saw a great ball game, 2-1 baseball game.
So were the roadies.
So it was a great baseball game. I love going to games like that. So I was looking at the list of star players today, and the thing that I'm never going to understand is the lack of consistency. So I saw a statistic about an up-and-coming star plays for Cincinnati Reds. His name's Ellie De La Cruz.
Yeah.
Okay? And Ellie De La Cruz has gotten to the point now where he has struck out 218 times in his major league career.
Wow.
Okay? And he's only been playing for just slightly over a year, maybe a year. So 218 strikeouts in a year. And I was reading some stats, and some of the most fascinating videos that I've ever seen, and I wish today's players would take the time to do this. Listen to any video that you can watch of Ted Williams or Tony Gwynn talking about hitting, the art of hitting. It is absolutely fascinating how detailed they are and the simple things that they did that made them consistent. So Ellie De La Cruz, in his first year in the major leagues, struck out 218 times. Wow. Tony Gwynn, in the entire decade of the 1990s, struck out 188 times.
God,
30 less.
That's crazy.
Okay, in an entire decade. So that just made me think, like, okay.
You got to look for more.
So, what are we, what is the most strikeouts in Major League history? And, you got it, there's the dead ball era, there's the live ball era. Let's just go by sheer numbers, okay?
Yeah.
So, the number one amount of strikeouts in a single season was done by a player named Matt Kilroy, and he was 20 years old.
Where's Kilroy?
When he was 20 years old when he struck out 513 times.
Wow.
Okay? He struck 513 times in 1886. So, that's quite a feat.
What size was his bat? They all had big 40,
I have no idea.
40 ounce.
Next up, Todd Ramsey was 21 during his when he set his record at 499.
Wow. Why didn't he get 500?
Hugh Daly, at age 36, struck out 483 times.
Wow.
And Dupree Shaw struck out when he was 25.
I like that
451 times. And I was thinking, like, man, these players today, they're just terrible. They can't hit. And I was thinking, well, geez, if you're only streaking out 218 times in a year, maybe you are a star. Maybe I have to rethink this, but I'm not going to. So the next up I wanted to find out, okay, so striking out as a batter, the game that Mike and I were at Saturday night, there was somebody won the dubious award of winning the Golden Sombrero.
Yeah.
And you know what the Golden Sombrero is, Jim?
No.
If you strike out 4 times in a game, that's called the Golden Sombrero. And Rhys Hoskins, the first baseman for the Brewers, struck out 4 times. And then the one step that's one above that is the Olympic rings. That's when you strike out 5 times in a game.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. That's good. That's good.
And it happens. So I wanted to see what's the most strikeouts thrown by a pitcher in a season.
Yeah.
And it's not surprising the top 3 pitchers.
Nolan Ryan.
Correct.
Yeah.
Nolan Ryan with 383. He did that in 1983, I believe.
Wow. 50
Yeah,
years
Can
ago.
we guess more?
You want to try guessing the
Steve
next
Carlton.
one? Carlton is not there.
No.
Koufax.
Yeah, Carlton's up there.
Okay.
He's in top 10.
What about Koufax?
Sandy Koufax, number 2, 382. 6'10".
Randy Johnson.
Yeah.
The big unit, 372. Now we're making a big deal when the pitcher's throwing 200 strikeouts in a season.
Right.
But just some interesting statistics. But Sandy Koufax, people don't really realize how great of a pitcher he was. But for a 4 or 5 year period,
Yeah, 5 years.
he was absolutely unhittable.
Yeah.
I mean,
Guess what? He couldn't throw over the plate his first year or 2.
No, he was having trouble. And
His control was so wild.
Interesting story
Sandy
that I read
Koufax.
about Randy Johnson was, he could throw smoke. And he's 6'10", and he was just having trouble. He couldn't locate the plate. He had a conversation with Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan gave him some advice. He listened to Nolan Ryan.
Take a little off.
And it put him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Remember when he exploded a bird?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
In spring training.
That video's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. What are the odds?
Bird
flying right in there.
But
And a ball thrown that
Incredible.
hard.
just some of the all-time greats. I always like to take a little trip through the
Memory
history
lane,
of
yeah.
baseball, because you know what? If you don't look and remember the things that happened in the past, can you really appreciate what's being done in the present?
Yeah, Marco, he's awake. That cake was delicious. I saw that Jacob deGrom had a start last night with 0 strikeouts, first time in his career.
Yes, sir.
Do you think he's too old now? Just saying. Did he make enough money? No, great points, Chip. I appreciate it. And I always tell people, think about the guy that hit the most records that, home runs that Chip still declares as the winner, Babe Ruth. He hit 341.
True story. True story.
And he said, don't ever worry about a strikeout. and he copied Joe Jackson, soon to be Hall of Famer, his batting stance. So that's about hitting, Chip.
Babe Ruth said, and even Ty Cobb said this,
Ty
the
did
best
too.
hitter they ever saw was Shoeless Joe.
Right, and Babe admitted he copied his stance. So there you go. All right, we're going to Raging Mike Rohde time, 10 seconds here.
All right. Hey, I have a homework assignment for you. If you Mission Impossible choose to accept it.
Sure.
So I've got a theory, and this may already be well known, and it may say, yeah, no kidding, Mike. We all knew that already.
Okay.
When Jared Jones, he started to throw an off-speed pitch. You talked about him throwing change-ups.
Yeah.
Right. All of a sudden, he's going in, and he's got. Well, I know he bypassed surgery, but he's got the arm problems. So it made me kind of think. And I know that Paul Skeens is really throwing a lot of change-ups now, right? So if you choose to accept it, is there a correlation there? Is there something about that when a power pitcher starts to throw change-ups, off-speed pitches, not curveballs, just taking 5-7 mile an hour off of their fastball? Is that causing a problem with arms? Because I thought about it last year. It happened with somebody else, and then they said about Jones in spring training he was starting to throw change-ups.
He is undergoing tonight.
He is getting surgery.
Yeah,
last I heard he wasn't going to.
He is.
Okay.
He is getting.
They all got.
And I'm not exactly. I don't know the answer, but from the things that I have read, is that throwing with maximum velocity and maximum spin rate, you're forcing the tendons and stuff in you to do things that they weren't intended to do.
Right.
That being said, I think. One of the problems that I see, and I watch a lot of baseball, that I see in baseball, is we have so many guys that throw 100 miles an hour. And I've read a lot written by Greg Maddux, and I'm going to tell you something. That guy, read about him if you want to learn about pitching.
Was just all control.
And the least important statistic
location,
when you're velocity, it being able. If you're going to throw a pitch and it's going to tan, or if it's going to break down, that's why you're.
Remember, but when we were growing up in Little League, they said don't try throwing a curveball.
They didn't allow us to.
No, because
they didn't allow. I remember.
They go, that'll hurt your arm.
Yeah.
They wanted us to develop throwing a fastball straight
and
that way before you started throwing off-speed stuff.
I would practice 5 times a week because they said the more you throw, the stronger you'll get.
Remember Grant Jackson?
Yeah.
Yeah, we know what he told him. We sat up at Sips.
Yeah.
You know what he told me? You know what we did the day after we pitched? We went out and threw.
Yeah.
You know what we did every day in between the day we pitched and the next day we pitched? We threw.
Right.
Well, anyway, that's my theory. I think I'm onto something, and we'll see. I just changed the because I just have that. When you throw like crazy, throw your 100 miles an hour, then you go down to 88, then you whip back up to 100.
Yeah, but some of the difference.
I just keep hearing when guys start throwing those change-ups is when they start getting arm trouble.
But some of it is where you hold the ball and chip. Like when you threw a change-up, you had to put it back in your hand.
Yeah.
You buried it in the palm of your
so
hand.
my thing, I
Same motion.
I threw hard, and when I threw a change-up, all I did instead of with my fingers, I put it in my palm, and it would, slow down. And my stress was the same.
When you're going to throw a pitch, when you have to snap your wrist like this.
Yeah, right.
When you're throwing the ball, that's where you're causing the unnatural reaction to happen.
I know we're short on time. Just one quick thing about OTAs.
I have nothing on
There's
location.
one guy apparently who really should have skipped OTAs, and that's Justin Fields. I heard he was throwing balls in dirt over guys' heads.
I wanted to bring it up.
Maybe there's a reason why the Steelers didn't bring him back.
You think?
Maybe they knew a little something more
than
the people that criticize
Exactly.
When you can run better than you throw, that's the
exactly.
thing.
So,
well, we're going to end the show with no on location. Thanks for watching us. 7 more to 1,000. So thank you for tuning in and being fans. Stay Joey strong.